Продолжается Positive Hack Day.
Hello, Positive Hack Day continues, the Open Festival of Cybersecurity. I would like to remind you, those of you who are in Moscow, today and tomorrow, please come to Gorky Park to this festival of informational technologies, informational security, and cyber hygiene. But we are happy to be in a special standoff zone, and right now we are meeting wonderful team, which is 20 years in the market, which provides its solutions to a big number of banks and maybe even your bank. It's eKassir. And Alexei Zotov, director, is with us. Yuri Kurdikov, the head of identity and open API. What is this? First of all, I would like to tell you that eKassir solution is integrated into the Standoff, and it's going through the check of security. But why did you come to us? Why did you want to participate in a Standoff? Well, hello. I would like to tell you that we had a long interest with positive technologies, so that positive technologies would have our solution, because we're a big company which provides solutions for banks, and positive technologies had good opportunity to check real case with payments. So right now, understand, which are broken by the hackers, we have three of our solutions. The first solution is a payments hub. So our solution, with the help of this solution, through the multiplicity of channels, you can do payments both in mobile application, native application, internet bank, mobile bank, or any integration through the API. And we can send payments to big number of adapters. And one of these adapters is our second solution, adapter for the SBP, and with its help, you can do fast payments. Our company is one of the first companies which is being certified according to new certificates. So we have the full set of standards, B2C, from one user to another user, C2B, B2C, and even a support of payments for the state. And solution number 3, called identity platforms. This is our solution, which is dedicated to cybersecurity. It consists of two parts. The first one, to provide secure procedure of identification, and the second one, provide protection of the services. This is our solution, which we've used in the company to protect and to do the authentication. And you already been hacked. Let's use this terminology in our event. Yes, we look at the reports and we can say that we were ready for this. This is our first experience of participation in this level of events with not even one team of pen testers, but with a full organization. From all over the world, they try to break us. Well, it's not a problem. The number of vulnerabilities is a very small one. So it's a very good experience for us to get this from the side of penetration research. Okay, let's speak about vulnerabilities. Alexei, maybe you will add something about the goal of participation. What about testing with the help of a cyber field? Well, it's a very interesting event. A colossal number of people and our solutions which are being broken. Digital transformation of the banks, and it's very important for us to have protected level of cybersecurity of these solutions, and we think that this is a good chance to test them. And the fact that we've been broken, which is good, we are going to remove these vulnerabilities and will change. So these are vulnerabilities which you have not discovered previously, before the cyber exercise. Can you speak about that? Yes, perhaps you can speak about it. It's not critical to us. This is related with installation of these programs on the stands, but how you've been evaluating your protection previously? how previously you've been evaluating your defense. And I would like to tell you that sometimes we will ask the same question twice or three times because this is a very big event. It's a very loud event. Many events are happening at the same time. And even in our studio, we cannot hear each other very well. Well, I can give you the answer. I evaluate highly the level of our protection because we've done a lot of things in recent years in order to bring this process of development of this software to a certain standard like DLC, security, life cycle.
Время успешно прошла сертификация по стандарту PCI-SSF.
We follow the PCI CSF certification. This certification was happening about a year and a half ago. It's a very extensive process, and right now we are at the final stage.
PCI-SSF на финальное одобрение. Второй момент – это процесс безопасного.
The second thing is a process of safe development, scanning of vulnerabilities, code review. Everything that was implemented, we do not manufacture products with vulnerabilities in our libraries or third-party libraries that we use. Therefore, according to our opinion and the opinion of the auditors, and just recently, in the end of April, beginning of May, we have received another certification for the assessment level of trust 4.0. We can congratulate you with that. Yes, thank you very much. Can you add something? Yes, from one side, we receive those certificates. We bring our processes of development to a safe form of development. But when the software is introduced in the bank, this software works with client transactions, with finances, and this is very important. Well, critical infrastructure is very important. And in the process of implementation, they have a lot of different cyber tests, which allow to judge what can be introduced or what cannot be introduced. So you are a fintech company with 20 years of experience. So the technologies and development, this is the main sphere of your activities, as I understand. And processes of testing for cybersecurity and for vulnerabilities, they are inbuilt in activities of the company. Yes, of course, we define those processes while developing the software, like load tests, pen tests, cyber threat tests, and this is done both for the boxed versions and in the framework of some ad hoc implementations in the bank. Also, I've been telling you that this is an open festival, and we are trying to make our conversations interesting not just for the informational security community, but also to regular viewers. That's why perhaps I would like to ask you about payment security in general, which factors have to be taken into consideration by us, simple users. What should we do? What should we do? Can you give us some practical advices? Well, I can give you the answer to this. Well, the security of payments is a highly regulated area. We do have a regulator which cannot make this process unsafe. So from the point of view of regular user, regular consumer, we can have only one advice. Payments are protected, and it's being taken care by architects and cybersecurity specialists. And there are also moments of social engineering. The most complicated and most difficult thing when somebody asks you to visit some page, follow certain URL link, which is and give the SMS from the code, or maybe some other feature methods, more on the emotions. They try to make you do certain actions to destroy cybersecurity. So 95% of cases are socially engineered threats. So my best advice is please always think before doing something, especially in situations where you don't put yourself in this situation. So provide a financial hygiene. There's IT hygiene for the user who works behind the computer. Don't open the letters with malicious software. And for every person who has a card and other ways of payments and who pays in the modern world, it's not a secret to anybody that phishing is one of the main vectors of attacks, the vectors of penetration of criminals in the informational systems for any company. And if you will look at Standoff sites, if you will look at those inadmissible events which already have been realized, you will see that for many of them, simple phishing became the entry point. Yes, if we're not speaking about financial risks, also social engineering, when your employee receives a call and he said, okay, can I get in? I'm the administrator. I would like to put some passwords. So I do support this proper hygienic approach. Well, payment security is a complex process, and it's not just related with users, but what is important? Well, it's important to all of us, both professionals and non-professionals. We have to understand which systems, which processes are more vulnerable, what can be important for merchants and those companies which implement those online payments or other payments.
безналичные платежи. Что таким компаниям нужно учитывать?
What these companies need to take into consideration.
Вы, наверное, имеете в виду, соответственно, что разные...
Well, you mean that different companies have different levels of risks, right? For example, we have central bank, which directly does not provide services to physical entities. They have secure channels, and this is a maximum level of security, which is very hard to overcome. Then we have digital banks, which have no offices, they work only through mobile applications, and other risks are totally different. And as I've told you previously, it's phishing, social engineering, and users legitimately transfer this money to the protection plus scoring. The moment of scoring, where this payment came from, have we discovered any anomalies? Like we had small amounts payments, and now we have a big amount payment. This mechanism allows you to keep personal money secure in the bank. And the company which is involved in acquiring, they have totally different risks, providing trade service companies with different technical capabilities of receiving payments. So there is a possibility on the level of improper organization. Somebody connected the payment receiving point, and big amounts are being cashed out. So this is a totally different risk which has to be taken into consideration. And traditional bank, it's a digital bank plus developed network for physical people who may come and get those services. Then there's a risk that bank employees can transfer accounts to each other, or weak authentication from other side, viewing through camera what employee does. So this is more physical security in traditional banking stays in the first place. Yuri have listed IT components of the F-State Bank, which is being broken by our hackers right now, right? This banking system, it consists of a central bank, traditional retail bank, digital bank, and the acquiring that you've been speaking about. Alexei, maybe you will add something from the point of view of your business, from the point of view of clients' business, physical entities, legal banks. What is most vulnerable? What can you advise? Irrespective to which a banking, whether it's a traditional bank or the bank which doesn't have offices or digital offices, there are common denominator under all this story. And vulnerable business processes, they are key for these companies, especially for the acquiring bank business processes which provide acquiring to merchants. For the digital one, this is also banking service. And it is important to protect these key business processes and provide their security. So in different specifics of different credit facilities, these business processes can be different, but what has to be protected? Definitely they have to be protected. Okay, thank you very much.
Собственно говоря, мы видим, что и
We do see
нашем полигоне каждый
that in our cyber field, every year, during every cyber exercise, we add new ways of payment. For example, payment through the QR code. And we are paying the tips and things like that. This is also a vulnerable process, and this is very important for your clients as well. Well, this is a new approach. Well, it exists quite a while, but it's a key business process, critical business process, which also has to be protected.
Наверное, хотелось бы поговорить о планах.
I also would like to speak about your plans of getting connected to cyber field of other solutions from your side, maybe other processes,
Эмуляция.
maybe attempts of emulation of new business risks. What do you think about that? Well, speaking about the cyber field, this year, 2023, we did have 3 solutions, but I do hope if you will speak about the following year, we will extend the number of these solutions. And it's going to be very interesting. A very important solution is going to be ATM solution. We do have a software, multi-vendor software, which is used for the ATMs, which connects a network of different devices under the single control management. And it's going to be interesting to check it for vulnerabilities. Yes, we wanted to install the ATM this time, but we decided that we will use simpler solutions, simpler for integration. Well, this is a hardware-software complex. Yes. By the way, the visitors of Standoff, they do know that we have a payment field from one of the retail networks, but ATMs are opened up and not your software. But we always wanted to have them. Okay, in the process of getting ready for the Standoff, we've been calling to each other, and we wanted to take your ATM, for which your colleagues told us, modern ATM, it's impossible to be broken in. It was it's going to be news for many of our viewers who try to think that ATM, those skimmers, and other things. Well, I can tell you the following thing, that we have a very big bank to which we do supply our ATM solution. I cannot give the name of this bank, but this large client of ours has ordered a pen test for ATM penetration, and a team that was involved in an attempt of stealing money, they were not able to do that. They didn't find any vulnerabilities, with the condition that they had functionality which a regular user has. So they can work with the terminal, with the screen, press the buttons, etc. However, when they've changed conditions, when hackers got access to control block software, they were able to do that. So I would like to say that it's an unjust situation, because when the integrity of the ATM, when the ATM is penetrated, the door is open, the ATM sends a signal to the managing soft, the signal is accepted by the bank, the reaction group works, and the ATM goes into the non-operational mode. So this, theoretically, it's possible, but practically, you will better wait for the arrival of the management team. So it's the simplest way to steal money from the bank. It was in the news a couple of days ago in Tambov. 3 strong guys, they just physically put the ATM in their car, transported it, and in the forest it was discovered without money. So if you'll answer the question this way, then perhaps it's impossible to break into ATM, but money can be stolen from it, but in other ways.
Пин-код прикрываете, да, Влада?
And when you put the PIN code, you close it by your hand. PIN code, yes, so that nobody would pick. No matter how many people are standing behind, even though there's a mirror and you can see, is there anybody behind you?
Я, да?
So it can be proven that it was not you. There's a video camera which films the process, and if it wasn't you, bank security can look at these videos, can compare with you, see that it wasn't you, and consider this a fraudulent transaction. Because we all have seen big number of videos when criminal in the darkness comes to the ATM, sends SMS, and the ATM starts spitting out money to it. But this is something that was happening 10 years ago. And the next person comes and it's all being fixed. All these incidents are understandable and they can be investigated.
Хотела бы еще спросить, может быть, можете...
I also would like to ask you, maybe you can remember some interesting incident which happened, not necessarily with you or with us, maybe with other companies, maybe outside of our country, something which is related to the security. I'm just trying to make our conversation interesting, not just for security people, but also for regular viewers. If you'll remember something like that, please tell us.
Также хотелось бы поговорить о тех рисках, которые
Also would like to speak about those risks.
показывают, да? Потому что
And I'm showing these because periodically we do have some inadmissible events. I'm not emphasizing on them because most of them are theft of personal data, leak of confidential information, which is not really nice for the subject of personal data and for the company where it was leaked from. But we see it every 10, 15 minutes in our cyber exercise field. But coming back
сферы нашего
to bank hacks,
расскажите, какие риски мы вместе закладывали здесь.
can you speak about which risks are available, which hackers can hack, which they have hacked, not in your devices, but other vulnerabilities?
Например, было реализовано
For example, inadmissible event happened. For example, the money were transferred from previously stolen card and they've been transferred to another account, whether this is possible or not.
Не знаю, не могу сказать. Я знаю,
I don't know, I can't say. Well, coming back to the ATM topic, there were a lot of attempts
действовать.
to influence it physically.
Популярная была система.
Well, it was popular to use the break-in system, which consisted of the following: that between the managing software and recycler, it's a device which is responsible for money provisioning. There is a certain cable between them, and knowing which brand
Этот кабель проложен,
of cable has been installed, you know, criminals have been drilling into it.
этот кабель.
They've been removing this cable, they cut into it, connected to it, and they were able to give a command for provisioning of money. Well, these cases are being viewed by cameras. It's impossible right now because the initiation from the managing computer to recycle is happening right now, and a managing team, they will not give the command for providing the cash. But everything moves, everything develops. And it's a competition when somebody will invent something new.
Банкомат,
So it's understandable that every model of ATM is under constant attacks of hackers.
находится как
That's why even if there are new methods of hacking are developed, upon the results of the incident investigation, we come to the conclusions, and these conclusions are used.
Мы из пионеров, собственно, внедрения безопасного и программного.
Well, safe implementation and software implementation. Yes, yes.
Ага. Да, я тоже проверяю, какие у нас
Yeah, I'm checking what other inadmissible events are happening in our cyber field,
нашей банковской
what happens with our banking sphere, and I would like to show you that banking sphere in the cyber field shows very good sustainability and protection. There are not too many inadmissible events as could happen. Maybe one of the final questions that I would like to discuss with you right now. During our previous conversation, we've been speaking with universities, we've been discussing a problem of training the specialists for cybersecurity, and we've been speaking about paper cybersecurity and compliance. As a rule, this topic is not considered a funny one by anybody. Nobody wants to discuss it on one side, but on the other side, what I hear you, Yuri, was saying, that compliance and those regulators' requirements in our country, they allow our banking system, payment system, to become really secure and safe. One of the safest in the world. The role of compliance, the role of regulators in building safe systems, safe payments, safe economy.
сказать, что
You know, I can tell you that
многие-то там ругают Россию, да?
many people rebuke Russia, thinking that something works very bad in this country. But we cannot even closely say that we have a bad banking industry.
Таким образом,
So even looking at which changes are happening in our country, comparing to what was happening 20 years ago, people were afraid of holding money in the banks because there were examples when this money just were devaluated.
много шагов предпринято по
And they made a lot of attempts of returning the trust to the banking sphere.
регулятор, он
So regulator does things which are not really liked by banks.
Из последнего это система внедрения
Out of the recent ones is the fast payment system. Basically speaking, implementation of this system has changed the business model of the bank,
в котором банк бы
and the variant when bank would leave on the interest rate from the commission payments, well, it's not a viable approach.
методы, да, они могут быть не совсем приятны.
So these methods may not be very nice for the banks
Бизнес-модель.
because they've been making money on this business model in many years,
Мы сейчас там в рамках
but the end user are those who win.
спокойно осуществляем
So you can make 1,000 ruble transfer without any commissions, and it makes banks to search for other ways of monetization, to provide new services.
условно говоря, как собака на сене сидели там.
Otherwise, they would see it as a dog on a haystack, and right now it doesn't happen like that. So the next initiative, which slowly moves forward, it's open banking.
Инициативы, соответственно,
And with the help of this initiative, banks
раскрывать информацию
will have to disclose information
обязаны были охранять.
which previously they had to protect according to the banking secret law. So with introduction of the open bank, user, with his own permission, can give his information to the second company, third company, which is better, more competitive, and receive information about his own account.
То есть регулятор делает большую
So regulator makes a lot of work
в плане как в карточке.
in the area of card operations, ATM operations.
Ну, даже
And Russia is a leading country in this area, I would say.
Visa, MasterCard было
Previously, when we had Visa and MasterCard,
из первых стран, которые
we were one of the first countries which have introduced those new payments, because for the United States and Europe, they are very conservative.
не готовы к каким-то.
They are not ready to things like that. And traveling around Europe, seeing the situation when somebody does not accept cards, it can be a normal thing. Or when they come and they are asking so much cash and card plus €5 because banking commission should be covered in Russia. I can't even imagine that something like that would happen. When I was preparing myself for the business trip to Moscow for this conference,
Достал кошелек.
first time in 6 months I pulled out my wallet.
Как деньги выглядят.
I forgot how money looks like, cash.
Большую работу проделывают на
So
центральном.
we work a lot in a central bank, and our regulator to provide and provisioning of ATMs, it's not an exception. Well, thank you very much.
Привел много конкретных примеров.
Yuri made a lot of specific examples, but generally speaking, drawing the result under this question, I can say the following. The level of financial technologies in Russia is on a very high level.
Остальных стран.
It's far away from other countries, and this is definitely like that. And irrespective to events which happened in February 2022, level of fintech and quality of provided services have not changed. It became higher and better, irrespectively to the fact that all key vendors moved away from us. We continue. Our banking system continues to provide
Качественные финансовые услуги клиентам.
best quality financial services to the client, various services which are different from those which are abroad, convenient, understandable, but it's a real digital transformation, irrespectively to what happens around us. Thank you very much, dear colleagues. Let's finish our broadcast. We have been visited by representatives, leading representatives of eKassir, biggest fintech in our market, Alexei Zotov, eKassir director, Yuri Kordikov, the head of the Identity and Open API department.
Приходите в парк.
And please come to Gorky Park to Positive Hug Days. Please learn and be careful. Thank you very much. Thank you.